Good afternoon, my name is Одарченко, and today I wanted to show you some lessons from United Arab Emirates and some lessons of their economy growth. I think that it will be useful for all people who work in public policy, in government administration, to recognize how other countries moving forward and moving to happy future and to happy future for their citizens. So today here in Dubai I will give to you the most interesting points which I told from meetings and of some from observation here in United Arab Emirates. So firstly, many people understand that development of United Arab Emirates connected only with gas and oil. But now percentage, for example, here in Dubai of gas and oil, it's from 3 to 6%, and so it's not so huge because they go to diversification and they use their gas and oil industry to do investment and do diversification in other fields. So when they get started work not with Great Britain, who was for a long time here, but with United States of America, they also start to vote and to suggest plans for their economy. And so it's a little similar to plans in Soviet Union countries, but it's very useful for economy. For example, when they get started, they of course in Little Emirates also builded many plans for roads, and they start build their roads from also their materials, and it was started of localization in their economy, and it was part of their plans. Then, for example, they understand that they will build a lot here, and they do localization, for example, of ceramics productions, of chemical production, also here in Emirates. And then they have planned, for example, of localization of food production, also for food safety, and now they also replace import in a big part of food production here in Emirates. And in one point also it's interesting that it's also Islamic food production, for example halal production, which have more than 3 billion market on these territories. For example, now they also have plans to 2030, and these plans also devoted to energy efficiency. They just started new nuclear reactor for energy efficiency. They start new green technologies, and also they start programs for more water, which they can use for agriculture and for developing their agriculture here in United Arab Emirates. So also it's interesting that for this diversification they invest to tourist industry, and all their dream projects, it's not only for ego dream projects, it's projects with understandable economy models, and they also can count all economy efficiency for their projects. For example, economy efficiency about investment to build an industry, economy efficiency of nice hotels, when people came and they use their airlines, and they also use their restaurants, so on and so forth. So these projects also have very understandable economy efficiency. As for example, you see here, it's the palm. It's like also projects and they count very good influence to local economy. I must mention that new their project, it's Expo 2020, which will hold in 2021. Also, as they count, will give very good influence to economy after COVID-19 pandemic, and they expect more than 20 million people who will be tourists and also business tourists here in Emirates to visit Expo 2020. And one more interesting point from their history and from their economy way, it's also interesting way in education of their people. For example, they give money, and if you citizen of Emirates, you can take education in any worldwide university, and then came and the government said that they have strategy to remove people not from Emirates and to give the most profitable places and top management places to people who work here in Emirates. But also they have quite strictly immigration policy, but quite high salary. That's why people from country with corruption and from poorest country came here, because a lower salary it's $600, and they work a lot. Of course, this policy discussable in worldwide forums, but it gives also influence to economic growth of United Arab Emirates. And in the end of my speech, and I hope it's will be useful for you, it's also work with one more stereotype, that it's totally free from taxes. Here they have taxes if you earn more than 1 million of their dirhams, and it's taxes from it's to 1 million. It's totally free, and they only last year start to use VAT. And if you earn more than 1 million, you pay from 10% to 85% if you work, for example, in gas and oil industry. And of course, you can work here and also do business with citizen of Emirates or with government, and they must have 51 plus part of your business, except some free economy zones, but it's for select business and for select type of business. And it's also interesting for stability of political and economic situation, which we can use as lesson in modern life. So I hope that this conversation was as useful for you as it's useful for me, for my work, and see you again.